Hello, kitten. Thank you for coming to yoga with me today. Maybe you want to take a couple of minutes to grab a deck of oracle cards or maybe some of your essential oils, light a stick of Nag Champa, hold a crystal in your hand, do something centering and grounding to kind of get us in the mood to be here together. And then find a nice comfortable seat. Maybe pick your card. Take a minute to adorn yourself with your oils. And then right here, we'll just close our eyes and take a big breath in together. And out through the mouth. A big breath in. And out through the mouth. Really sigh it out, big breath in. Good. Let's start our session today in a wide-legged child's pose. So taking the big toes to touch, knees to the wider edges of your mat, and crawl your hands forward. Let the forehead come all the way down. This is the part. Take those off. And let it be really passive at first. So just let yourself hang in this child's pose. Arms are like totally flat on the mat. Forehead's on the mat. Maybe you rock it from side to side. Take a couple of breaths. Feel it into the back body. Let the heart melt a little bit closer on those exhales. And then we'll make it an active child's pose. So maybe the forehead's still down, but we lift the forearms off the mat. And we're pushing our palms down and forward, and our shoulders are retracting. And you can even find a little bit of movement here as we breathe. You can take it up onto the fingertips, getting a little deeper. Let that heart sink, sink, sink. Maybe still finding those little bits of movement through the ribs. And then we'll let the arms come back onto the mat. This time we're gonna let the shoulders, elbows come under the shoulders. Draw the knees underneath your hips, tuck your toes, and we'll take some low cat-cows. So on the inhale, dropping the belly, looking up. On the exhale, rounding through the spine. And when we do our cat-cows on our forearms like this, it's a little easier on our wrists. Since I know you do some desk stuff, we'll try to stretch those rather than work them so much today. And then also this gets it really deep into the middle of the shoulders and upper back. Just moving through some cycles on your own breath. Just a few more, maybe adding on some other layered movements, wiggles from side to side. And then staying slow and low, we're gonna take one foot back, toes are tucked. Other foot back, toes are tucked. Go ahead and let the hips settle in, and we're gonna take this low plank on our forearms. Pressing down and out through the forearms, pressing down and out through the heels. And we're just here for a few breaths. Let the neck get really long, the skull pulls forward, heels press back. Knit the ribs together, pull the belly button in towards the spine. Just a few more breaths, building a little heat, finding that gentle challenge. Good, and letting yourself melt all the way onto the belly. We'll find a Sphinx pose. So for this, I like to remind people, keep your elbows underneath your shoulders and keep your hands over your elbows so they look like the number 11, or candles on a birthday cake. Roll the shoulders back. Let the heart press forward as you pull into your palms. So your belly's kind of dragging like a little caterpillar. Look straight ahead. Take a few deep breaths. Fingers are spread wide. Collarbones are spread wide. We'll prepare for a little baby cobra. So coming all the way down, and we let our hands come underneath our shoulders now, fingers still spread wide. And this time I'm going to take one leg back, reach it back, the other leg back, reach it back. And that's just to get some space in the front of my hips. Now I'm going to squeeze my inner thighs, zipper them all the way down to my toes. And I'm going to press my toenails into my mat. This is going to feel weird because the power is coming from my lower body. On the inhale, just the tiniest curl of the heart up, little to no weight in the hands. And really keep pushing those toenails down. This is our cobra, little baby cobra. Good. And then release. We'll take the hands wide. This time we tent onto the fingertips and we let our elbows hang out high here. Head just falls in the middle and we feel our shoulder blades scoot a little closer together. On the inhale, again, pushing into those toenails, lifting the heart up. On an exhale, drop one ear and shoulder into the center of your mat. You can start on either side. We'll make a little pattern out of that. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, drop the other side. A few breaths. Good, and then we'll work with the breath, right? So inhale, center. Exhale, one side. With the breath in. Center, exhale. Other side. One more each direction. Inhaling, center. Exhale, ear and shoulder. One more. Last time, we'll come up center here. Good, release. We'll come up to our hands and our knees. So I like to tuck my toes under this time, bring my hands under the shoulders, push, come onto the hands and knees. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and actually you can even take your hands a little bit wider. This gives you a little more space in the shoulders and the neck, so pinky fingers can be freely off the mat a little bit. I know coloring outside the lines is absolutely ridiculous, but we're gonna do it. And from here we'll find some cat-cows. I like to tuck my toes first, and on the inhale, drop the belly, shoulders roll back, almost like you're balancing a beach ball in your low lumbar. And then exhale, round through the spine. Now you're over that beach ball. You can play into it a little bit, rock and roll. Find a few more. In your own breath. We'll do this for just a little bit. Wiggle into the side body. Good. Now we're gonna take it to a real slow, low downward dog, right? So tucking those toes, keep the knees really bent. Let's get the upper body long first. So notice my shoulders are away from my ears and I'm pressing myself back and my hands are kind of moving down and forward into the mat. So from here, I'm keeping my gaze down and then I'm just gonna lift my butt and let my gaze go back between my legs. Again, no shrugging, we're releasing here. And that's why we've got that space in between our hands and our pinkies off the mat. From here, a real slow pedal, starting to get into the back chain of the body, keeping the energy low and collected. Some breaths, using the exhales to continue pedaling. We'll come up onto the tippy toes, gaze forward, shift the weight forward, bend into the knees and find this hover. Pull the low belly up and in, and knees just stay a couple inches off the mat. We're here, we're breathing. Feeling the heat, feeling a little bit of that challenge. We bring in, we invite in. Good, drop down, lift the heart, lift the tailbone, nice little cow. Awesome, come to neutral. See, we're gonna take our knees to touch, keep the toes tucked under here. We're gonna come to sit on our heels. This is everybody's favorite stretch. If it's really sensational, that's okay. You can put something under your knees, a rolled up blanket or some blocks. That'll reduce the stretch a little. If you don't feel anything, you could take the little twerk out of your back, sit the full weight down. You get a little more in the quads, a little more in the feet. Then you can lean back. You can always work up to that too. So the benefits of stretching our feet is that our arches act like little trampolines. And when they're too stretched, they lose that bounce, which starts making our lower back hurt. So when we help stretch our arches, we help bring this bounce back in. We can clear up some back pain. Nice, maybe some neck rolls while we're here. Try not to clench your jaw, let your shoulders stay soft, let the stress go out the feet, but not back up and into the body, you know? Fingers are soft. When you're ready, we'll exhale, release, tap out the tops of the feet on the floor. One of my favorite parts. The neighbors love me. Point, flex, circle everything around, squish your toes together like foot fists. Spread them all apart. Good. And then we're gonna retuck our toes and we're just gonna sit up nice and tall here. Good. We're gonna step forward with one foot and come into a low lunge. You can scoot that back leg back as much as you need, and you're allowed actually to bring your knee just a little bit over the ankle too, as long as we're still on the ground. It's when gravity's involved that we really want to keep that knee right over the ankle. So we're kind of stretching in here. Hands can be on the ground. They can graduate to the knee. We can like find a little pump. I like back toes tucked, so there's a lot of power. And then we'll find a half Hanuman, a half split. And again, you're welcome to use any kind of props here. You can use shoes, you can use weights, you can use actual blocks. We're gonna send our hips back and high, flex our toes in towards our face, and then I like to send my heel a bit forward. Now, if you'll notice here, my right hip is really jacked up high. So we're just gonna exhale, drop it down. Whew, you get a lot more sensation through the back of the leg. Keep those toes flexed. And then fold with a flat back to wherever is accessible. Maybe it's nowhere, we're totally up here. And gradually as we start exhaling and using our practice daily, we can move more forward. We'll do that a few times, back and forth. Just finding a stretch in the front of one leg and the back of the other. Maybe like 3 times. We can pull that leg back. We'll swap it out. Left foot steps forward. We find a nice little bend in. Take your time with this. Our flow is 30 minutes, but if anything feels good and you've got the time, you can linger. Just pause me. A few times. Using the exhales, that's how we get a little deeper. Back to that half Hanuman. Really flex the toes. Maybe you drop that hip down. Whoo, pull it back like a cue, like a game of pool. Feel that energy zip in. You kind of twerk it back out in the butt. Ooh, lots of sensation. One more. Good, and take it back. I'm gonna come up here and we're gonna teach you the basics of a shoulder floss so we can integrate it later. Arm is down at the side, palm is flipped up. We let the fingers collapse. We're gonna pretend there's a wall next to us. Maybe there is a wall next to you, even better. You're gonna drag your fingers up the imaginary or real wall. All the way up. Like you've got a question. Once you're up here, you're gonna hold the back of your neck and you're gonna round. And you're gonna also pull forward. Elbow reaches into this curl. Inhale, take it back up. Like a question. Now watch this hand on the way down. It's turning. Palm faces away from me. Ear and shoulder go to the opposite side. So my right arm's in use, head goes to the left. We're gonna do it on the other side. Fingers drag up that imaginary wall. Take the hand to the back of the neck, round. Inhale, back up. Palm flips, head opposite direction. Good. Take the hand back down. Keep the knees real bent and come into this like low key forward fold. Maybe flip the palms fingers face in towards you. If the hands are just hanging, awesome, leave them there. As you build into it, maybe you even step onto the hands. Wiggle your toes at your wrist crease and give yourself a little massage. Recenter myself here. We're gonna roll up nice and slow, arms really hangy. Bend through the knees, pushing into the feet to find that grounded center. And then we're gonna roll the shoulders a few times. Roll the neck a few times. Maybe take some full circles. Let the jaw hang open a little. Good. We're gonna dip ourselves down towards a chair. So bending into the knees, fingertips towards the earth, and then inhale, reach forward. We're squeezing our inner thighs. Feet can even come to touch, that's all right. Then we're gonna face the palms forward. Hi. And then we're gonna take a funky shoulder. So you can watch first and then follow along. We've got hands that keep scraping back. And then notice my hands come up and overhead and my fingers folds into these little bird beaks. Now I'm just chilling. This is affectionately called funky shoulders. One of my mentors. And then inhale, we're gonna come back up to that chair. Just feeling that fire, that little bit of grounded challenge we're cultivating. We're inviting in on purpose. Exhale forward. Funky shoulders. Inhale up to chair. One more. We're in our chair. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Stand all the way up. Melt the arms down real slow. Good. Maybe take the feet underneath the hips just a little wider. Bend into the knees. Nice. We're going to take those shoulder flosses like we did earlier. So bending into the knees, almost like a very subtle chair. Hand out at the side. Drop the fingertips, scrape it up the wall. Like a good question, hand to the back of the neck. Arch forward and round. This time it is kind of like a chair, right? Hand can be on the thigh for support. Inhale up. And again, palm flips away from you. Back of the hand to the low back. Ear to shoulder. Inhale, take it up. Round. Inhale, raise. Exhale, ear to shoulder. One more. Good, left side. Hand out at the side, fingers drop, drag it up. Back of neck curl, chair almost. Inhale up. Open. 2 more. Take your time. We're flossing the nerves in our shoulder. One more. Inhale up. Open that shoulder. Nice. Release. Shake it out a little. Do a little dance. Maybe circle. Maybe walk backwards and forwards. Nice. All right, to the back of our mats. Feet hip distance apart. Left toes turn slightly out. Step forward at that same hip distance. Don't stack the feet, keep it wide with the right foot. Now, we're gonna bend into that knee, and press down and forward with the front foot, and press down and back with this back foot, really ground down through the knife edge of that back foot. Now, squaring the hips, hands on the hips, point them forward towards the top edge of your mat. So we're gonna retract that right hip here, kind of like we did in that half Hanuman, that like pool cue stick exercise. So we're here, we inhale, we take the arms up, palms face each other, fingers are really active, like we're holding the sunshine. We're here for 5 really good breaths. 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep the bend in the knee, fold forward. Hands reach great, if not, blocks. Press down and forward into the front foot to straighten out the right leg. Pull the right hip back, squeeze the inner thighs. Fold to wherever it feels comfortable or keep a halfway lift, pyramid. We're gonna bend back in. Inhale, rise. Press off the front foot, step back, Tadasana. Take it down. Right toes slightly out, left foot forward. Pull that hip back, square it up. Inhale, fingertips active. We're here for 5. Pressing down and out. Squeezing the inner thighs. Gaze stays lifted. Eyes can start closing when you do need more challenge. Last breath. Good. Finding that full. Straightening that front leg wherever feels good. It doesn't have to be straight. You can have your blocks. You can be at a halfway lift. Let the head relax into it. Bend back in. Inhale, take it up. And this time we step forward. Bring the hands to prayer overhead. Bend slightly into the knees. Exhale, take it down and forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands can touch down, they can clasp, they can come behind the head, whatever feels best. This is your return to center, your bow to yourself. Let's take the hands down. Take ourselves down to a seat. Extend the legs out in front of you. Flex the toes towards your face. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, find a fold. Inhale, slowly roll your way back up. We're gonna put our feet at the top edge of our mat, about hip distance apart, reaching forward with the hands. Pushing down and forward into the feet on the exhale, we're gonna find a recline. From our recline, let the knees come into the chest. Give yourself a little hug and take a rock. Apanasana. And then we'll move into a happy baby. So hands to the outer edges of the feet, feet face up towards the sky, knees go wide. And then we press down, so we're pulling our feet towards the earth, knees move closer towards the earth, but our shoulders are as open and flat as they can be, and our head is still on the mat, right? The other thing to look out for is this lift in our tailbone. We want that to be pretty flat. So it's okay if we pull a little less to get that flatness. An option to move through here, get some last final stretches, release one leg, extend it out nice and slow, half a happy baby. Let the heel hover or maybe even touch down. Take it back up to the other side. can do it a few times on each side. If that feels like too much in the low back or the hips, you can simply skip it. Releasing the knees, the feet, maybe taking them wide, a few windshield wipers, just knees from side to side. This can be as stretchy or as minimal as you'd like it to be. This would be a great time to potentially lie on your blocks in your bridge, as I know you enjoy. So taking the feet in towards the butt cheeks, letting the toes slightly point in towards one another, taking your block underneath your sacral area, and then giving yourself a stretch there for a little bit. While you're here resting on your block, try to breathe a bit deeper into the belly. We get this beautiful opportunity in our supported slight back bends here to inhale into a space of our lungs that normally doesn't see much action. Few more breaths. When you feel like it's time to come off of your block, or of course you can stay there for your meditation, you can simply press into your feet, slide the block out, lower vertebrae by vertebrae, nice and slow. Pause for a moment in that stillness before making any other extreme movements like knees into chest. And then maybe take the feet wide, let yourself do a few more windshield wipers. And then as you're ready, we'll kind of kick into our Shavasana. Now, if you're not feeling your Shavasana, that's okay. You can also always take a seated meditation, no judgment. But get cozy here, okay? Find a nice lying down or seated position. Let the eyes close and the body start to soften. Wiggle out any extra zappy energy through the fingers and the toes, and then start feeling a little heavier. Maybe you're a little warm from your practice. Maybe your breath is still settling back in to Christina's breath, what that means. Maybe you have to sigh out any remaining anxiety or blockages. And in this moment, we'll simply be. Letting thoughts pass through. Working to not attach ourselves to these stories and write them as they float by, but rather let this stream of consciousness be just that, a stream. Maybe you become a little bit more aware of your body, the individual sensations that you are currently experiencing. And you let go of this need to change stuff, list things, and plan, and you just are. these few moments. Christina is just a beautiful soul in a splendid body. As Carl Sagan would say, suspended in a sunbeam. Perfect as you are. It's about time to close our practice together. So as you see fit and feel, start bringing some movement back into your body, whether you're seated or lying down. You could wiggle toes and fingertips. You could shake your head on the mat. Maybe circle wrists and ankles. Yawning breaths for reaching. And whether seated or lying down, hug yourself, maybe knees into chest, or just arms wrapped around your own chest. Maybe tell yourself, no, in fact, say it out loud, I love you. We'll release our hug, take our hands to prayer. A final breath in. A cleansing, refreshing breath out. And a bow. Namaste. Thanks for joining me, and I hope we get to practice again tomorrow together. I'll be checking. I love you.